My name is Emma, and this is my story, a wife in her 8th month of pregnancy juggling work pressures while trying to hold together a marriage that has already been through its share of cracks. My husband and I have been together for 8 years and have weathered many storms, even committing to 2 years of marriage counseling to rebuild what was broken. But things have grown complicated since my husband became close to a new female friend. Strangely, I, someone who's never been jealous before now, find myself drowning in insecurity, doubt, and a jealousy that hurts more than I ever expected. And as I shared earlier, my husband John and I have been together for 8 years. That time has been a long journey, not only filled with sweet moments of love, but also burdened with harsh challenges. We started as a dream-filled couple deeply in love, believing that love could conquer anything. But life was far from easy. The pressure of work, finances, illnesses in the family, and frequent relocations gradually wore down our relationship. There wasn't one single moment when things fell apart. It was a slow, quiet erosion over the years, until one day the closeness we once had began to feel distant. There were moments when I truly believed our marriage was coming to an end. We lived in the same house, but no longer as true partners. Our communication became rigid. When we weren't silent, we were arguing. We started avoiding each other to avoid further pain. What hurt most was knowing that we still loved each other, yet no longer knew how to express it or find our way back. I remember feeling alone in my own home, where conversations turned into blame, and a simple hug at the end of the day became a rare luxury. But eventually, we both realized we didn't want to give up. After much hesitation, we agreed to try marriage counseling. It wasn't easy. That first session felt awkward, defensive, and full of doubt. But over time, it became a safe space for us to truly talk. We learned how to listen rather than just react. I came to understand that while I tended to control and take on everything myself, John often withdrew and avoided conflict. Those differences left unspoken had quietly driven a wedge between us. We also learned that love isn't just about emotion, it's about effort, and it needs to be nurtured every day. Small changes like weekly check-ins, cleaning together, planning weekends just for the two of us, slowly helped ease the tension and rebuild our connection. I remember one evening when John surprised me by making my favorite meal after a long, stressful day at work. It was a simple act, but it brought me to tears. In that moment, I knew he was still there, still trying. After 2 years of consistent therapy, we felt like we had come a long way. We were more mature, more aware of each other's needs, and had learned how to love in ways the other could feel. When we decided to have a child, I truly believed it marked the beginning of a more peaceful, joyful chapter. I believed that the hardest part was finally behind us. But ironically, it is now at the most vulnerable stage of my life, 8 months pregnant with our first child, that I feel unsteady again. I feel like I'm being left behind, like I'm no longer the priority in my husband's life. It hurts deeply. The progress we fought so hard for, the healing we built over years now, suddenly feels fragile once more. Pregnancy for many people is described as a beautiful and sacred time, but for me, it has come with an unexpected sense of loneliness. Now, in my 8th month, my body feels heavy, swollen, and exhausted, so much so that simply walking across a room can leave me out of breath. I don't feel like myself anymore. My hormones are all over the place, making me emotional, irritable without warning, and constantly anxious. While others talk about the magic of carrying a child, I feel like I'm battling something overwhelming every single day, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm the primary earner in our household, and that hasn't changed just because I'm pregnant. I still work full-time, manage large projects, oversee teams, and shoulder most of our financial responsibilities. I don't usually complain. I've always been independent, capable and proud of not needing anyone. But this time is different. I'm tired. I need rest. I need support. And painfully, it's at this moment that I feel most alone. Beyond work, I've also been handling everything related to preparing for the baby, buying supplies, choosing a hospital, planning for the birth, and organizing postnatal support. Thankfully, I have some help from family and paid services, but what I truly need is the emotional presence of my husband, the one person who's supposed to be in this with me. Instead, he spends almost every weekend with his group of friends, especially Pam, the woman I can't help but feel jealous of. I've tried not to let my insecurities get the better of me. I've told myself it might just be the hormones talking, but deep down I feel abandoned. These weekend hangouts with Pam and the others have become fixed events in his calendar while our own marriage has taken a back seat. There are no more private date nights, no quiet evenings for just the two of us. If I make other plans, he'll go without hesitation, and sometimes we don't see each other at all on the weekends. When a gathering gets canceled, he's visibly upset, like the highlight of his week just vanished. As the woman carrying his child, it hurts that he doesn't seem to prioritize me right now. I'm not asking for the world, I just need him to be here to listen, to help me process all the fears and feelings that keep rushing in as I get closer to giving birth. But instead, I feel distance, disappointment, and the heavy weight of having to carry both the physical and emotional load by myself. I always thought becoming a mother would be the most wonderful experience, and I still believe that. But I never expected it to feel so lonely. Not because no one's around, but because the one person I need most feels so far away from my body and from my heart. And the scariest part is realizing that when I need him most, he simply isn't there. I've never been the jealous type. In fact, I used to pride myself on being rational, someone who trusts the person I love and doesn't get consumed by possessive emotions. But then Pam came along, and for the first time in our 8 years together, I felt like I wasn't enough. Not attractive enough. Not fun enough. Not the kind of woman John has always been drawn to. And I started turning into someone I barely recognized, jealous, sensitive, and deeply insecure. Pam entered our lives rather suddenly. She's nearly a decade younger than me, the kind of woman that if I weren't pregnant and emotionally overwhelmed, I might actually find likable. She's bubbly, talkative, confident, and shares John's hobbies, something I can't really compete with, especially now when I barely have time for myself, let alone shared activities. From the first time John mentioned her, I saw a light in his eyes. He told me she was so interesting, and really gets him phrases that used to describe how he talked about me when we first fell in love. I didn't say anything then. I told myself not to overthink it, that she was just a friend. But the uneasy feeling didn't go away. It lingered, then grew stronger every time they spent time together. At first I tried to be supportive. I even agreed to let him meet up with her every weekend for their hobby group. Later, John suggested inviting Pam and her boyfriend Kevin over with other friends so I could get to know them better. But it didn't take long for things to start feeling off. Pam always sat next to John at gatherings. They used pet names, casually said, "Love you" in front of others, in a way I'd never seen him do with any friend before. John would remember her favorite snacks, her little quirks, sometimes buying small gifts for her that I only found out about later. I'd never seen him genuinely sad over a canceled hangout until it was one involving Pam. I know I'm jealous. But the hardest part isn't the jealousy itself, it's the fear that their relationship is starting to cross a line. Maybe not physically, but emotionally. And that to me is just as painful. I'm carrying his child, and while I'm up at night tossing and turning with backaches or anxiety about giving birth, he's laughing and texting another woman, someone who makes him feel free to be himself, while I feel like a stranger in my own marriage. I hate feeling this way. I hate questioning someone I once trusted with everything, but I can't deny that I'm hurting. And what hurts even more is that when I tried to express it, he dismisses me as overly sensitive because of pregnancy hormones. That makes me feel minimized, like my feelings don't matter. I need him to understand that what I'm feeling is real, and that even the most innocent friendship should never leave a wife feeling as replaced and invisible as I do now. I never imagined I'd be competing with a friendship inside my own marriage. And yet, that's exactly how I feel now. I'm no longer my husband's priority. The weekends, those precious moments meant for reconnection, rest, and preparing for our baby, are now consistently reserved for his new group of friends, especially Pam. While I try to rearrange my schedule just to enjoy a quiet evening with him, his calendar revolves entirely around their hangouts. I tried to be understanding. I told myself that giving him space would help him find balance. But that's not how it's played out. Every weekend, if plans with the group fall through, John becomes visibly withdrawn and disappointed. And us? I can't even remember the last time we had a real date night. No hand-holding on walks, no cozy evenings watching a movie, not even sitting together quietly without phones or distractions. All of that has faded away. What hurts the most isn't the time he gives them. It's the sense that I and our unborn child have been moved to the sidelines. I'm 8 months pregnant. This is the time when my husband should be showing up, supporting me, helping me mentally prepare for the biggest change in our lives. Instead, I often go to prenatal appointments alone, manage the workload by myself, and rely on family or hired help instead of the person who should be closest to me. I've expressed this to him. I told him how painful it is that his weekend gatherings with Pam and the others have become non-negotiable musts, while time with me feels optional, like something that can be rescheduled or skipped. He listens, but doesn't truly hear me. He says I'm overreacting, that I agreed to this dynamic before, and it's unfair for me to change my mind now. He even suggests I'm being selfish or emotionally demanding when all he's doing is taking care of his mental well-being. I understand everyone needs friends and space, even within marriage. But when those outside relationships start to intrude on the time and responsibilities owed to your family, where is the line? I don't want to control him. I just want him to realize that a child is about to be born, and his wife needs him now more than ever. Love, when not prioritized, will wither like anything else. A marriage cannot stand strong if only one partner is actively tending to it. I've made efforts, compromises, and held back more sadness than I should have, but now I have to ask, is this relationship still a priority for him? Or have I been holding on to something he quietly let go of a long time ago? We're currently in marriage counseling, the same process that helped us heal years ago. But this time feels different. Not because we don't want to save our relationship, but because an invisible wall has formed between us: stubbornness, helplessness, and two very different ideas of what's fair in a marriage. We don't yell or insult each other during sessions. We speak calmly, sometimes too calmly, to the point where I feel like I'm talking to a stranger instead of the husband I once knew so well. I tell him that I feel abandoned, that the time and emotional energy he's investing in his friendship with Pam is hurting me, damaging the bond between us. He tells me I'm being controlling, that I'm changing the rules just because I'm pregnant, and that it's not fair to him. He argues that I previously agreed to him spending weekends with this group of friends, that I can't just take it back now that circumstances have shifted. He says he's willing to spend more time with me, but only if something gives: either I reduce my work hours to make space for rest, or I accept that he won't be able to keep up with chores like before. To him, his friendship with Pam is part of his emotional well-being, his chosen family, especially after moving away from his real family to be with me. I understand his reasoning. A part of me wants to empathize. I know he's undergone changes and losses of his own, but the truth is, I'm pregnant. I'm in the most vulnerable state of my life, and I need a partner, not a negotiator. I can't always be the flexible one, the one who bends and adjusts to keep the peace. I need initiative from him, not, I'll help if you do X, but I want to help because you need me. The biggest issue right now is that we can't find common ground. We both feel right. We both feel like we're sacrificing more than the other sees. And the saddest part is our therapist doesn't offer clear direction. They're good at facilitating, at helping us hear each other, but right now we need more than that. We need objectivity. We need someone to say, this is a healthy boundary. This is what matters most right now. Without that, our sessions are just reruns of the same argument growing more entrenched each week. I leave every session with a heavier heart, not because I wasn't heard, but because I feel hopeless. I don't know how to get us both to take a step back. I don't know if there's even a middle ground left to meet on.